Before the headlines, before the screams and sonar scans, she was just Lily, a girl who fell in love with the sea long before she ever touched its depths. Born in Santa Cruz, California, Lily Monroe was never afraid of the water. As a toddler, she would wade waist deep into the tide while other children clung to their parents. Her mother once said, "The ocean didn't frighten her, it called her." By age 10, Lily was already snorkeling past rocky coves, chasing shadows and studying fish like a marine biologist in training. By 16, she could hold her breath for 4 minutes. By 20, she had broken her first national free diving record, descending over 90 meters into black water with nothing but a wetsuit and lungs of steel. But it wasn't the fame that drove her. Not the sponsorships, not the records. It was the silence, the stillness, the mystery waiting at the ocean's floor. Friends described her as fearless, but those closest to her said something different, that Lily didn't dive because she was brave. She dove because she was searching for something she couldn't name, something that perhaps found her first July 18th, 2022, a day that started like every other expedition. Clear skies, calm waters, but beneath the surface, something else was waiting. Lily stood at the edge of the boat, eyes closed, hands steady, heartbeat slow. She wasn't nervous. She never was. In fact, her dive partner later said she looked more peaceful than ever, like she belonged down there. The location, the Kermadec Trench, a deep, isolated scar in the Pacific Ocean, one of the least explored places on Earth. Even submarines rarely reach its floor. But Lily wasn't in a submarine. She had only her body, her breath, and the single goal to reach 120 meters and come back. She strapped on her body cam, checked her dive watch, took one last breath, and then disappeared beneath the waves. The first 30 meters went smooth. Her descent was flawless. Each kick precise, slow, efficient, designed to conserve oxygen. At 50 meters, she passed into the twilight zone where sunlight fades and pressure doubles. By 80 meters, she was alone in absolute silence. No fish, no coral, just darkness. And at 90 meters, she stopped, paused, looked around. Her camera, still recording, captured something strange. Her head turned sharply left, then right, as if she sensed something, a presence, a movement. Then she kept going, down, deeper, past 100 meters. Ibalingu, Ibai Isher, and just as she neared 114 meters, her body froze, her arms stiffened, her legs kicked once, then stopped. Something was there, below her, rising, fast. The footage flickered, then shook violently. A shadow swept across the lens, and in a flash of blurred motion, everything went dark. She never resurfaced. 3 minutes passed, then four. Her dive partner scanned the waterline. No bubbles, no shadow, just silence. It was 12 hours before they recovered her body cam floating 6 miles from the dive site. Salt damaged, cracked, but still functioning. And what it captured was horrifying. The footage begins clear. Lily's face, calm, focused, the dive watch ticking. Then, a sudden yerk, the camera shakes violently. Something massive darts through the corner of the frame, blurred but fast, too fast. A flash, then suction cups, enormous, sweeping past the lens. Tentacles, smooth, wet, and impossibly large. Lily's breathing speeds up. Her eyes widen. Her arm jerks upward. A silent scream escapes, muffled by water. The image blurs again. Another strike. This time, direct. A thick limb slams into her side, spinning her camera. And then nothing, just darkness. And the faint pulsing echo of something alive, something below. When Lily failed to resurface, her team knew something was wrong. This wasn't a rookie mistake. She'd never missed the resurfacing window, not once in 10 years. Within 8 minutes, a rescue team was in the water. Sonar scans began, drones deployed. But the ocean held its secret. No trace, no fiends, no bubbles, not even a torn wetsuit. The only clue? A tiny, battered GPS beacon floating alone. It had detached from her camera rig. Later, Coast Guard scans showed something chilling. A sonar anomaly, a shape massive and slow moving away from the dive site, roughly 15 meters long. No known vessel matched it. No whale migration tracked it. And it was gone within minutes. That's when theories began to swirl. Was it a malfunction, a predator, or something older? Marine biologists were the first to examine the footage. What they found stunned them. The suction patterns, the tentacle length, the speed. One name emerged, Architotus, the legendary giant squid, long believed to live deep in ocean trenches, rarely seen, never captured alive. But this behavior was unlike anything ever recorded. Giant squids don't attack humans, they flee, they hide, yet what dragged Lily downward did so with purpose, with force, and with speed beyond explanation. Experts froze frames. Enhanced lighting, they found large circular scars, tentacle marks on her detached dive belt, a match for known squid anatomy. But larger, much larger, and then came the most terrifying detail, a thermal reading from her dive watch. At 114 meters, her heart rate spikes, then flatlines, no ascent, no struggle, just silence, as if something gripped her and crushed the life out of her in seconds. There's a reason the ocean is still called Earth's final frontier. We've mapped more of the moon than we've mapped the ocean floor. And what hides in those black depths remains unknown. But sometimes something rises from that silence to remind us we are not alone down there. Lily Monroe's case isn't just a tragedy, it's a warning because what happened to her defied every known behavior pattern, every natural explanation, every biological rule we thought the deep followed. Let's look at the facts. The dive profile shows she descended at a steady pace. Her oxygen reserves were strong. Her heart rate was low, ideal for free diving. Hair form perfect. No sign of panic. No signs of trouble until exactly 114 meters. At that point, two things happened. Her heart rate spiked from 38 BPM to 124 in just under 3 seconds, and her depth recorder froze. It didn't slowly climb, it flatlined. The dive computer recorded no motion, as if she were held in place, paralyzed, suspended. But it's what happened next that shook even veteran rescue divers. Her dive belt was found days later, washed ashore almost unrecognizable, but a forensics lab reconstructed the tear. What they found was a clean, circular crushing mark. It matched the radial force exerted by a large tentacle, a tentacle far stronger than any human could fight. Now, here's where it gets worse. Divers in that same region, specifically near the Kermadec Trench, have reported strange sonar anomalies since 2009. Large moving objects, too fast to be whales, too large to be sharks, and completely silent. One team from Auckland University recorded a sonar event in 2017 that still hasn't been identified. It showed a heat signature of something roughly 18 meters long, moving vertically from the trench floor to 90 meters in under 10 seconds. To this day, no official statement has been made. But let's go back to Lily. Her dive was monitored by a live feed on the surface. Her camera streamed for nearly 3 minutes before signal loss. When the footage was recovered and enhanced, analysts noticed something no one expected. At timestamp 2:34:17, just before the footage cuts out, you can hear it. A sound, not electrical noise, not here rattling, but a low frequency moan, almost like the howl of a whale, but deeper, slower, more deliberate. Sound engineers compared it to known marine species. It didn't match anything. Some believe it was echolocation, an attempt to navigate. Others believe it was a warning. One theory suggests that the lily stumbled upon a mating ground. Squid, especially deep dwelling species, become hyper aggressive during reproduction cycles. A female entering that territory could trigger defensive behavior. But others disagree. Marine biologist Dr. Holland Weaver proposed a chilling alternative that Lily was not attacked in defense, but chosen, targeted. He theorizes that some cephalopods are intelligent far more than we've measured, and that, in rare cases, they may display predatory curiosity. His words, the deeper you go, the older evolution becomes. The creatures down there haven't changed in millions of years. But that doesn't mean they're primitive. It means they're perfect. And perfection can be lethal. So, what exactly happened? Was it a freak accident? A rare encounter with a normally reclusive predator? Or was it something else? Let's consider the timeline. Lily dives at 11:43 a.m. Camera signal lost at 11:47. Rescue team initiates search by 11:55. Her camera is recovered at 0:14 the next day, over 6 miles from the dive point. But here's the catch. Ocean currents in that region don't flow in that direction. In fact, based on recorded data, the camera should have drifted northeast. Instead, it moved southwest. That suggests it didn't drift. It was dragged. And there's more. The camera's memory card showed signs of electromagnetic exposure. File data had been corrupted, not erased, but scrambled. Analysts found minor radiation traces. That level of exposure is not common in shallow dives. It would require proximity to volcanic activity or something capable of emitting heat and charge underwater. No volcanic event was recorded that day. No tremors. No known equipment malfunctions. So what caused the corruption? Speculation flooded the internet. Forums lit up with theories. Some said it was a giant squid. Others insisted it was a colossal octopus. A few whispered the word kraken, a nod to ancient myths. And one chilling theory emerged on a deep-sea exploration subreddit. What if it wasn't an animal, but something we thought was extinct? Some cryptozoologists point to a controversial theory that certain megalithic species like Tussotutis, a prehistoric squid known from fossils, may have survived in isolated ecosystems. Lily's dive site, one of the most untouched oceanic ridges in the world. In theory, it's possible, unlikely but not impossible. And that's what haunts us. Not just that Lily Monroe vanished, but that something down there had the power to make it disappear completely without a trace. Imagine it, a creature so large, so fast, so silent, that it could reach you before you even saw it coming, wrap around you, crush the air from your lungs, and sink back into darkness with no one the wiser. And the world would never know. That's what keeps scientists up at night. That's why some diving communities now consider the Kermadec Trench off limits. Not officially, but silently. Unofficial warnings, hushed stories, red flags without headlines. Because the ocean doesn't need to announce its monsters. It just waits, quietly, patiently, and then one day it reaches up and takes. That day, it took Lily Monroe, and we may never know why. They called her fearless, but fearlessness isn't the absence of fear. It's a decision to move forward, even when you know what's ahead could swallow you whole. And that's what Lily Monroe did. She didn't dive for fame or for views or to chase some record etched in numbers. She dove to feel something most of us run from: silence, isolation, the unknown, and in that final descent, when everything we know ends and everything we fear begins, she went willingly. After her disappearance, the world reacted. Oceanic forums exploded. Diving communities went silent. Marine institutions launched private investigations. But what resonated more than the science was the sorrow. Lily had a voice online, a small YouTube channel, a modest blog. She spoke often to young divers, encouraging them to listen to their bodies, respect the sea, and never dive with ego. In her last post, just days before the dive, she wrote, "There's a moment just before you reach depth when you feel like the ocean has stopped breathing and it's waiting to see if you belong down there." Some say she found that place. Others believe the ocean decided she never should have come. Her parents refused interviews, except once, in a quiet, trembling voice, her mother said she always said she felt safe underwater, safer than anywhere else. But the ocean doesn't play favorites. It gives, it takes, and when it takes, it doesn't explain. A memorial was held in Santa Cruz a week later. Hundreds gathered on the beach where Lily first learned to float. Divers lit candles shaped in a spiral. Her dive partner tossed a wreath into the waves, white lilies wrapped in her free-diving strap. No body, no burial, just water. Some say that's fitting, that the ocean was her home. But others say it's unforgivable because the footage, the body cam was real, and what it showed shook even the most skeptical minds. Government agencies reviewed it unofficially, quietly, but no public statement was ever made. To this day, it sits in a locked archive in New Zealand, classified, according to rumors, because it doesn't just raise questions about safety, it raises questions about what else lies down there, what else we've ignored, what we've dismissed as myth or exaggeration or fisherman's tale. You see, when we imagine monsters, we think of fantasy, but nature doesn't follow our rules. It doesn't care if we believe in it. It doesn't care if we're ready. It simply exists. Lily Monroe's story isn't a ghost tale. It's not a piece of fiction. It's real. And that's what makes it so terrifying. Because if it can happen to her, a professional, a calm, seasoned, record-breaking diver, then it can happen to anyone. Every freediver who's read her dive log now hesitates at 90 meters. Every sonar tech who's studied her footage sees echoes they can't unsee. Every deep-sea explorer knows the rules have changed. The ocean may be beautiful, but it's not benign, it's not passive, and it's certainly not empty. Something down there is watching, something ancient, patient, and powerful. Maybe it's a giant squid, maybe a species we haven't classified, or maybe just maybe it's a presence we're not meant to understand. The Kermadec Trench has since become a no-go zone for multiple private dive companies. Not banned, not restricted, but avoided by choice, because when you stare into the abyss and the abyss doesn't blink, you change. And some believe that Lily's dive did more than cost her life. They believe it woke something. A myth, a relic, or the truth that the ocean is not ours, that it never was. And that sometimes it takes back what it lent. So what do we do with her story? We remember her, not as a victim, but as a reminder. That bravery is real. That mystery still exists, and that the sea is deeper than fear. If Lily could speak to us now, what would she say? Would she warn us to stay away? Or would she smile and say it was worth it? Because maybe, just maybe, she found what she was searching for